From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems, everything is built in and ready to launch.
It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it?
Let's make your dream a reality right now.
For the $30, let's get 300 Lynn W's. That is LYNN. Lynn with the 30 says, love your content so much. I literally watch you every day and appreciate what you do. This is the revolution. Thank you for the $30, Lynn. Seriously, thank you so much. And then Yolana, thank you for the 10. And Shakira, thank you for the 6. If you're watching and you want to support me, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio and TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and the handles at the top of the phone screen. Now hopping back into the debate, this guy thinks that the shooting of Alex Freddie was justified. So what is the legal standard that justifies an officer killing someone?
A reasonable threat. And also, wait, can I just thank Nixon for the 5 points? Nixon9987. Thank you for the 5 points on TikTok. We really appreciate that. Yeah, considered a reasonable threat. That's what I would.
No, that's not true.
Reasonable. Yeah. What is it then?
Yeah, so the legal standard to justify an LEO to kill somebody is if they objectively, reasonably believe that this person is purporting an imminent threat of either serious bodily harm or death to anybody within the immediate vicinity.
Okay.
Nicole, thank you for the level.
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, we can assume
those criteria.
Yeah, I mean, these officers.
So I'm gonna ask this question very clearly.
Whoa, can you let me? Hey, stop interrupting
I'm sorry.
me.
I'm sorry. Let me just frame this. It's gonna be clear and simple. Your goal now, because you accepted that you believe Alex Pretty shooting was justified, and you accepted that
I said it was negligence. I said it was negligence. I said it wasn't murder, but it was negligence. I never said it was completely justified.
Okay, well, the definition of murder would be the intentional unjustified killing of a human being.
There's different types of murder. There's degree 1. There's degree 2.
I just gave you the definition of second degree murder.
Yeah, I think it'd be third degree murder.
No, that's second. That's third degree murder typically doesn't exist in most jurisdictions, as that's like manslaughter, like the unintentional unjustified killing of somebody.
Yeah, it was unintentional murder. Yeah,
it was unintentional.
Yeah.
So the officer didn't intend to take his gun out of his waistband. Didn't intend to point it at Alex's back. Didn't intend to pull the trigger. Didn't intend to kill him by shooting him 12 times.
I have unique insight. Let me explain exactly what happened. So these officers probably have seen this guy around. This guy's been going to every ICE protest. He's in these group chats. He's harassing federal officers, to protect foreign nationals. That's why it's treasonous. But, so these people have seen this guy break taillights. They've seen him spit on them. They've seen him harass them and assault them. So they approach this guy. He is impeding an arrest. He's, obstructing stuff. And the officer points him to the ground. He's squirming. He's fighting against it. And someone yells gun and the guy shoots him. I would consider it negligence. But overall, let's just say, yeah. For your point of argument, let's say, yeah, he got murdered. Does that mean we should abolish ICE?
Did you just concede?
No, I don't think he got murdered. But okay, I'm just saying.
I want to debate you
if he got murdered.
Because here's what I just heard. If you want me to be honest, I gave you the mic to explain why you didn't think it's murdered. You realize that you're cooked, okay? Because you're not making a cohesive argument here. Because you're arguing that it was negligent. But you also then realize that under your view, that negligence would be the reason why this shooting was unjustified, therefore murder, because I clarified on what murder even is before you started speaking. So then at the end, you were like, I fucked myself. This is murder, even from my own perspective, if I posit it was driven by criminal negligence. So no, I'm not willing to allow you to move the goalpost any further than you already have. We are debating why you do not think the murder of Alex Freddie was murder. You don't have an argument because you have now accepted, that the officers were acting within negligence. You've accepted that the shooting of Alex Freddie was unjustified or not completely justified, as you put it. And you accepted that the legal and moral definition of either second degree murder or just murder, as we use it colloquially, would be the intentional unjustified killing of a human being. You have to concede that it's murder,
or is not murder.
You have to revision one of your, or you have to revision one of your premises. Oh, actually, you're right. The one option that you have to attempt to use to argue here that it was not murder, given everything that you've already accepted, that you will not concede on because you're a pompous, egotistical little man, would be the fact that it was unintentional.
Aren't you 5'4"? Well, hold up. Aren't you 5'4"?
No, I'm 5'9". But even if I was 5'4", I would still be calling you a little man, not because of your not because of your physicalities, but rather because of your mental acuity. But anyways, to go back to what I was saying, in order for you to argue that it was unintentional, you'd have to accept that the officer unintentionally reached for his waistband. You'd have to accept that the officer unintentionally grabbed his gun. You'd have to accept that the officer unintentionally pulled out his gun. Then you'd have to accept that the officer unintentionally pointed that gun at Alex Reddy. You'd have to accept that the officer unintentionally aimed down the scope of that gun to ensure that it was on his back. Then you'd have to accept that the officer unintentionally pulled the trigger, not once, but twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times, 11 times, and 12 times. Do you accept those things?
Well, look, put yourself in the officer's shoes. I mean, this crazy guy, not the best looking guy, according to MSNBC, has been harassing these officers for weeks on end, have been kicking their taillights, spitting on them, assaulting them, and someone yells out gun. This officer's probably very scared. And I really have sympathy for this officer. I think he should get his badge taken away because, you can't be scared in that situation, but he's probably terrified. Think about the officer. He's probably really scared. He's probably terrified. This crazy guy's been assaulting them for weeks, and he probably shot him because he was scared. Look, do I think that he should have? I think he should get his badge taken away.
You just conceded because you just conceded that it was intentional, but he did it because he was scared, meaning it was negligence.
Well, he heard
Therefore,
gun.
it's murder.
He heard gun.
Yeah, therefore it's
He
murder.
heard gun.
Therefore it's murder, dude.
He heard gun though.
Yes, and that's what drove murder from your perspective, inducing criminal negligence. So you think that this ICE agent intentionally did kill him, but it was out of criminal negligence due to the fact that he got really scared, but unreasonably scared, when he heard somebody say gun, leading to the death of Alex Reddy. That would be second-degree murder.
If someone walked into your house on accident with no weapons, no nothing in the middle of the night and thought that it was their house and you shot them, would you say that was murder?
In many states, it would be, yes.
Yeah, but not in Texas, not in other states. Let's assume it was in Texas. Would you consider that murder?
In Texas, I'm not aware of their laws.
Okay, well, it's not murder, right? So if someone has reasonable respect,
I would.
This guy's been assaulting them for days.
Okay, so legally, it's not murder in Texas. Gun. So what's the relevance? I'm just confused because you're trying to say that legally that's not murder in Texas. By the way, I bet a lot of people out there, including many Texas attorneys, would refute your claim. I'm just not aware of the specific stand your ground laws in Texas. But this is completely unrelated to the debate. What is the relevance of bringing up the murder laws in Texas to the murder laws in Minnesota?
I'm bringing up hypotheticals that show you that it wasn't like this guy just randomly shot someone on the street. He's seen this guy for many weeks.
Wait. I have a question. Did that officer, was Alex Reddy purporting an objectively reasonable imminent threat of death to the LEOs?
He's been assaulting them, and if someone hears gun, if someone yells gun, yes.
Was Alex Reddy, one moment, was Alex Reddy purporting an objectively reasonable imminent threat of death to the LEOs within his immediate vicinity?
The LEOs, seriously.
Yes, the LEOs.
Before he was disarmed, yes, he was.
Oh, you're actually wrong again.
Yeah, because he's a crazy person.
Well, you're actually wrong again. Okay, you're actually wrong again. I'm happy that I could clarify this for you. So first and foremost, he was disarmed before he was shot, meaning you're now conceding it was murder. Round of applause from the audience, please. Second of all, actually, in accordance with the Second, Fourth, and 14th Amendment, alongside case law and SCOTUS adjudication / interpretation of the Constitution, most notably the Connor v. Graham court case, no, LEOs are not authorized in killing somebody because somebody is merely in possession of a firearm. In fact, the NRA published a statement on Twitter less than 72 hours after Alex Reddy was killed in response to a district attorney that was reiterating exactly what you're saying right now by saying that it is dangerous and wrong to suggest that LEOs are justified in killing somebody for merely being in possession of a firearm. But once again, dipping my toe back into the first point that I made that's the most relevant here, he was disarmed before he was shot. Therefore, once again, you're conceding it was murder.
Well, if merely having a firearm, if he's assaulted the officers in the past and is impeding on their work duties, and he has a firearm, I think that's a completely different case than just a person with a firearm.
It's actually not. It's actually not. Let me explain.
It actually
no, legally, it's just not. Like, I just objectively am smarter than you. I objectively know more than you. So sit down, know your place, and like learn something. So first and foremost, it is evaluated on the totality of the circumstances as it would relate to the contextual engagement taking place in any given like moment of time. So I agree that if like Al.
The teen years can be rocky, and growing up in a military family does not make them easier. Luckily, Talkspace online therapy for teens is covered by TRICARE, because I know my daughter misses her dad, and she still has to cope with school stress and all the daily dramas of teen life. I realize she's not going to tell her mom everything, so she can turn to her Talkspace therapist to talk and text about whatever's on her mind. Get started at Talkspace.com/military.
Like independent journalist in all reality, a real dumb guy. Not ICE, so it seems like they didn't even know about that at the time of the shooting. Meaning that couldn't have possibly taken place or be considered in the totality of the circumstances as it would relate to the shooting. And then second point here, you said, well, maybe something that would purport this imminent threat justifying ICE and taking Alex's life is the fact that he somehow interfered, obstructed, or resisted. So I'm not convinced that he resisted. I think that that's bullshit. I think that you know it too. He had 8 minutes.
She's under arrest. No, wouldn't you think so? You know, they're impeding. Um, or am I wrong here? You know, I'm not
You're
saying
wrong.
it's justified for it. I'm not
No,
saying
you-
it's just justified for
you
him to
are
get shot
wrong.
or pew-pewed 10 times, and you know, that's crazy. That is, I mean, that's murder, you know? So I mean, as far as I'm slowly changing my view, but like it's hard when people are aggressive out there, you know? It's the same thing on both sides, you know? Like what was his name? Who's that? The guy carrying the rifle. It's the same thing for him too, you know? Like nothing happened to him, you know? So like it's kind of like what really happened, you know? There has to be another video that's going to come out soon, and then if that video comes out, what would you think? Well, like if there's more to it, will
Do you
you
ever stop
change your
talking?
opinion? Go ahead.
Okay, so you just said like a whole lot of nothing, honestly. So first and foremost, about the E. Jean Carroll rape case, you just said that you have no clue, which is kind of contradictory if you like support the mass deportation operation of the Trump administration, because it's typically civil courts that would adjudicate, okay, the fact that somebody is an undocumented immigrant, and you're saying that they're reliable enough to deem this person guilty of this federal misdemeanor to then send them to be tortured in another country. But apparently, as soon as a civil court with a higher standard of evidence, because typically the judges in immigration courts don't have a jury agreeing with them, finds Donald Trump to be guilty of rape, you just say, oh, it's all a matter of opinion. You don't really know. No, it's not a matter of opinion. It's a matter of fact. Okay, we have a significant amount of evidence, rather it be the direct evidence that he raped her or the indirect evidence that he raped her, rooted within the inconsistencies through
What's
his
the
defense.
evidence?
Don't interrupt me. Or his character priors. I'd say that we have more than enough evidence to reasonably conclude that he is guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll. And now to respond to your second point about Alex Preddy, you're saying that he put himself in that situation. Well, I just think that you're complete and utter dumbass for making such a terrible suggestion. If you think that somebody deserves to be killed by a masked agent of the
I didn't
state
say
on the
that.
streets of this country because they're engaging in the appropriate application of their First and Second Amendment rights, then you've just completely lost the plot. And you just said that you didn't say that. You absolutely did say that. Don't backtrack now because you're getting proven wrong.
I didn't say he deserved it.
No, I said that you said that he put himself in that situation. So if you think
Yeah.
saying that he put himself in that situation is synonymous to saying that he deserved it, well, then guess what? You did say that he deserved it, because that was what you took away as it was an implication of me repeating what you said.
So what's brandishing a weapon?
Brandishing a weapon is a criminal
Yeah.
charge that he was not guilty of.
But what is it? Like when you're brandishing a weapon, do you need to hold it in your hand, or is it just showing it, or what is it?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Legal definition of brandishing a weapon. Brandishing a weapon is the illegal, aggressive exhibition of a firearm or deadly weapon in a rude, angry, or threatening manner. Okay, yeah. So it's basically, menacing somebody with a weapon by showing it to them in a rude, angry, or threatening manner.
Okay. So if he's threatening, let's say, right? Let's say he's 2 inches away with his phone now, right? Like he was, and his
Okay,
weapon
no, let's talk about the
is
brandishing the
exposed.
weapon. Do you think that he did brandish his weapon?
I have to look at the video again, but I mean, they saw it, right? It was
Yeah.
out,
No, so
right? They
I'll happily
removed
clarify.
it from
I'll
him.
happily clarify with you here. No, he never
Okay, thank you.
brandished his weapon. He never even touched it. Never even touched his goddamn gun. So what happened is they beat him to the ground. They then dogpiled him, and in the process of doing so, an agent lifted up his shirt, so I was legally permitted to carry a weapon on his side holster, then took it from him and killed him.
I mean, I can't argue with that. You know, I know that it's not justified there. You know what I mean? Like they shouldn't have killed him. They
Right.
could have
But it's
detained
just like
him.
you're trying to find ways to defend ICE in this scenario by saying that,
No, I'm not.
oh, he
I'm
put
not.
himself.
I'm
Yes, you
against
are.
that.
No, don't play dumb. You are. By saying like, oh, he put himself in the scenario. Oh, he might have been brandishing his weapon. Oh, he's doing this or he's doing that, bro. Bottom line is, okay, Alex Preddy was just simply enacting upon his First and Second Amendment rights. And if there was any illegal obstruction that he engaged in, well, it was in the defense of a woman that was getting pushed to the ground by an ICE agent thug. So I support him all the way. I think that he did what I would have done in that same scenario. Alex Preddy is a goddamn American patriot, and he was murdered by lawless thugs. And I think that fact needs to be recognized by every single American for us to not absolutely lose the plot and give way to total tyranny and authoritarianism in broad daylight on the streets of this country.
And what about good? What do you think about that? But you don't think she hit him with the vehicle or tapped him or whatever you want to say? Like,
Yeah, no, I don't think that she hit the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross. No.
No.
No, and the reason I know that is because through an evaluation of bystander footage, you could literally see that he's off to the left of the vehicle the moment he pulls the trigger the first time. But the reason
do
why
see
I
him
know that
limping, though.
the reason that I know that she was murdered, okay, is because the autopsy report revealed that it was the third shot that killed her. And when he took the third shot, he was literally like chasing the car down to the left of the window.
I didn't see that in the video. I just need to look at more videos for that because there's different angles and stuff. So I just probably haven't seen the right video yet.
So Alex Preddy was murdered. Renee Good was murdered.
And I've been talking to like different people about like they're saying that more Americans were murdered. Is that a fact or
More Americans were murdered? What do you mean?
yeah, like by ICE. Like I haven't seen any other news besides those two. But like,
so
is that-
I would assume not. I would assume that there's been more non-Americans murdered by ICE than Americans.
Okay.
I'm not for sure though, because so far this year there's been 9 people murdered by ICE. I'm unsure about the other 7. Well, actually the other 6 because Keith Porter was an American citizen. About the other 6 and their citizenship status.
Okay. And do you think it's okay for undocumented immigrants to cross the border?
Okay, I don't know what the relevance of this question is. We're trying to determine why you support Trump as president, and like so far, like I just feel like I haven't heard a single goddamn reason. So let's go back to that. Why do you support Trump?
Well, because of immigration. That's one of my main reasons.
So you think that he's
so
doing
that's where I was
something
going
good
with
with
that.
immigration? What is a thing that he's doing good with immigration?
I mean, deporting like undocumented immigrants.
Sure. Why is his mass deportation beneficial for America?
I mean, because there's people from all over the world that we don't know what they can do to our families, to our kids, you know. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen here, right? We have plenty of felons here, but
Yeah, like Trump.
but do we need more?
Okay, so you're saying that mass deportation is a good thing because it reduces crime?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, you're wrong. So, A, it actually increases crime rates because undocumented immigrants are less likely than citizens to engage in crimes at any level. And B, it increases the amount of nominal crimes that we observe because of the economically destabilizing effects that it has on our economy, increasing poverty, and a lot of crime is consequential of poverty. Therefore, we'd expect a marginal increase in crime.
Yeah, but also they're coming in and they're taking our jobs for less money, right? Because they need the money and they're willing to do it. And
Okay,
that's
so moving off
taking
the
jobs.
crimes, now going to the economy. So you think that they hurt the economy?
You brought the economy up, but yeah, like
What's one way they hurt the
yeah.
economy?
Yeah, I mean, no, they're hurting American citizens, like middle
How?
class, lower class,
How?
because they can do the job and do it for the right minimum wage, you know? Like these guys are doing it for like $14 an hour, and these guys pay other people $20 an hour. It's just an example. I don't.
We're literally like speed
depends on
running
what's
through
up.
this guy's points. So yeah, undocumented immigrants are more likely to get paid less. It's because they have less bargaining power to hold against their employers because they're under the threat of being removed from the economy through deportation. And when they're unemployed, they can access like 90% of all social safety nets. So if they don't have money, they just starve and die in many scenarios. The way to fix that is to offer them a pathway to residency or citizenship. So then they have just as much bargaining power as any other resident or citizen. So then they get paid just as much as any other resident or citizen, which would actually have positive effects on our economy by increasing real median wages, by increasing their total taxable contributions and GDP contributions. And it would actually bolster our own manufacturers because then they'd have more money to spend more on American produced goods.
So why is it okay that other countries have these like immigration policies and they'll kick you out, right? No problem, right? But over here, we want more undocumented immigrants to just walk in here, like through boat, through tunnels.
I think that a fair observation of our debate up to this moment in time is very interesting because you first started by attempting to justify that mass deportation was good for this country. Okay, so then I asked you why. You said because it would reduce crime and then make the economy better. I was able to effectively dispute both of those points. Definitely, like you didn't even have a counter argument against my refutations. So now you've just reduced yourself down to the statement, well, other people are doing it, therefore it must be good for us to do it too. I don't know if like you ever told us in third grade, but like, you know, that old sentiment, just because one of your your friends jumps off a bridge, don't follow them. Well, that kind of goes
Mhm.
here too, unless you have good reason to do something, you shouldn't do it. And you've now demonstrated that there's absolutely zero good reason to support mass deportation, as there's no positive effects on this country for citizens or them. And in fact, through the counter arguments in which I've granted to you, I've demonstrated how mass deportation is bad for this country, makes the economy worse off, and increases crime.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you. I respect
So then
your
you concede,
opinion.
and
I'm
then you
actually
accept that
gonna,
mass deportation is bad.
for certain people, some people need to go. Not everyone's a bad person,
Yeah,
right?
like people with like violent criminals on their record. Sure,
Yeah.
I agree. So did the Biden-Harris administration. In fact, they deported them at significantly higher rates than Trump is today, because unlike the Trump administration, they disproportionately focused on them. Under Trump, only 30% of people who have been deported have any criminal record, and out of them, only actually 5% of everyone deported had violent crimes on their record. So now, if you're just telling us that you disagree with the deportation of
Is
the
this?
majority with no criminal record, you in fact should now support the Democrats.
I kind of go kind of both ways. Like,
Well, you don't go both ways, because you have no reason to support the mass deportation. I've demonstrated that. I mean, you just said it yourself.
I
You're not
agree
even going
with
to
you
argue
with
with me
there. Like,
because
you proved your
can't
point
use
there.
words to like demonstrate an argument in support
No,
of it. So why
like
would
I
you go
said, you
both
proved
ways?
your point there. You're right about that. I feel like not every, like, how can you tell? How do you know by how can you find a record for them? There's no record.
Well, they use the same vetting process that we use for legal immigrants. So should we stop legal immigration into this country because you don't think that there's any way to effectively tell if they're a good or bad person?
Legal, you said?
Yes.
No, we shouldn't.
Oh,
no.
okay. So obviously you think that we have reasonably good enough means to identify if legal immigrants are good enough people to be allowed into the country. Therefore, let's just use those same means on undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, but if they're already here, let's say they didn't go to the American embassy or whatever it is, and they get caught by ICE, right? Or whatever, like, how do you know if they're a good, bad person in ICE's position?
Okay, well, first and foremost, I don't think that you care about good or bad people being in the country, or else you want to put an objectively bad person. No, you want it. No, you don't, or else you want to put an objectively bad person in the White House. Like, can we just take a moment to say that? Oh, how do we tell if they're good or bad people? Well, I guess when we can tell that they're bad people, as long as they're a white billionaire, you say put them in the Oval.
Oh, no. I don't care about that.
Yes, exactly. You don't care about bad people running the country. Oh, they're a rapist, throw them in the White House. If they've admitted to sexual exploitation, throw them in the White House. If they're best friends with Epstein, sending them letters with a outline of a naked woman or girl with a statement, "May ever nay be another wonderful secret," put them in the White House. When they defy Congress and break federal law to conceal the Epstein files, put them in the White House. Okay, when they attack our Constitution, violate the 1st, the 2nd, the 10th, 14th, and the 22nd Amendment, all in less than a year, throw them in the White House. Okay, when they cause people to violently insurrect our Capitol in an attempt to overthrow the government, and in the process they try to kill cops like DJ Rodriguez, who gave Officer Fernando a stun gun a heart attack by grabbing a stun gun and driving it into their neck. Throw him in the White House after that president then pardons that person and calls him a patriot. Like, what's this conversation about? Oh, how do you tell if they're good or bad? Because apparently, to you, when they're bad, you want them to run the country. Apparently, okay. So I'd say that before we even start having this conversation about, well, how do we identify if immigrants are good or bad, so we could, reasonably conclude if they should be able to stay in this country or leave this country, you first have to accept this foundational claim that bad people, if they shouldn't be in the country, shouldn't be running the country either.
That's fair. Yeah. And I definitely don't think Trump's a good person at all. You know what I mean? In fact, just the opposite. He doesn't care about us.
Why are you a Trump supporter? If Trump doesn't care about us, why are you a Trump supporter?
Neither, but both sides don't. None of them do. At the end of the day, they talk.
That's where you say, "Oh, it's a both sides issue."
I'm
so sorry. Where was Kamala Harris's rape case? Where was Kamala Harris's defiance of Congress? Where was Kamala Harris's insurrection? Where was Kamala Harris's?
Kamala Harris is part of the worst administration in the history of the U.S. Biden was the worst president to ever live.
Check this out.
Am I wrong?
You are wrong. Okay, if Biden was the worst president to ever live, what is one bad policy he passed? Be very
At this point, you're probably not avoiding therapy because of stigma. You're probably avoiding therapy because you've become very good at coping. So good that you stop noticing how heavy everything feels. As a therapist who goes to therapy herself, it's important to remember that your mind and body hold on to every stressor you don't have time to process. That stress shows up as exhaustion, irritability, shutdown, or feeling overloaded in a way you just can't explain. Therapy can help you start releasing it. Now, one barrier for many people is knowing how to choose the right therapist. BetterHelp removes that barrier. You answer a short questionnaire about your goals, preferences, and needs. BetterHelp reviews your responses and matches you with a therapist that fits what you're looking for. You can meet over video, phone, or live chat, so the format fits your life. Many clients report meaningful symptom improvement within 12 weeks of consistent sessions. If you want to walk into 2026 with less mental weight and more clarity, therapy with BetterHelp can be your starting point.
Guess Trump is the second worst. He resumed all funding to Ukraine in July, but apparently he's your favorite president. So once again, brainwashed. But anyways, so you just said that the worst president in the history of the United States of America in the last 249 years would at least have one bad policy they pass. You said that is absolutely true. Okay, so either Biden has a bad policy he passed, or Biden isn't the worst president in the history of this country, correct?
I just don't think Biden was running the country.
You're not answering my question. Either Biden has one bad policy he passed, or Biden is not the worst president in the history of this country, correct?
I'm sure there's a policy in there I can find if I just look it up, But
sounds good. Go look it up.
I'm over here talking to you.
I'm going to call you on your bullshit. Go on pause, go to Google, and find one bad domestic policy Biden passed.
Okay. All right. Give me one moment, please.
Good. While he's looking for that policy, I'm going to thank a couple people. Fair, I appreciate you for the $2 on Super Chat. Claire, thank you so much for the $5. Then Dag, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat, who says, why is it you don't use the Epstein files now often to talk them out of supporting Trump? They're pretty crazy stuff in there. I think that's exactly what we're going to be doing with the next guest. Dag, thank you so much for the $20. Let's get 200 Dag W's down below. As well as Bitboy, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. He says, why aren't we debunking the AI video? Seriously, it never happened. I don't believe that it's AI personally. Then Sassy Diva, thank you for the $10, who says, thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much for the love, Sassy Diva. Appreciate you so much. By the way, if you're watching and you're like, hey, I like this Dean guy, you want to support me in what I do, you could actually find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and handles at the top of the phone screen. I get all of those proceeds to go straight to me. You could even attach a message that I'll try my best to read off on live. He's still looking for that one bad policy Biden passed, so we're going to thank a couple more people here. Beatrice, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Pat, thank you for the $5. Damien with a 1. Angel, thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube. On Venmo, who says, if you want, I've got a shovel in my garage that will give you a better argument than these guests. Yeah, probably true. Thank you for the $10, Angel. Then Jessica, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo, who says, for the celebratory strawberry daiquiri on the beach fund. Yes, one day we will be having that. Thank you so much for the $15, Jessica. Show some love to Jessica. Same thing goes for you, Riley. Thank you so much for the $10, who says, hey, Dean, as a great victim, fuck every Trump supporter who thinks the E. Jean Carroll case is fake. First and foremost, Riley, I'm sorry that happened to you. And second of all, absolutely fuck them. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate that so much for the love. Thank you so much for the love, Riley. Then Sophie, thank you so much for the $5 as well. It looks like we are all caught up over on Venmo. Let's quickly catch up on PayPal. Gladys, thank you for the $20 on PayPal. Show some love to Gladys down below. That is Gladys. Gladys, it is good to see you, and thank you for the love. Gladys with the 10 says Epstein files. That's it. That's my message. Yes, something that we all need to be talking about more. Thank you for the $20, Gladys. Then Kathy, oh my God, thank you so much for the $100 donation on PayPal. Holy shit, Kathy. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, with every bone in my body. It is so undeserved, and I'm so grateful for you. That is Kathy with a C. I'm trying to see so many Kathy W's in the live chats. Kathy with 100 says, thank you so much for what you do. This old lady learns so much from you. Really enjoy the live streams. Kathy, you've been tuning in daily for a long time now. You are Queen Kathy. I absolutely love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Same thing goes to you, Skylar. Thank you so much for the $30 donation, who says, hey, please don't read this out loud. Okay, I will keep that to myself, but Skylar, thank you for the $30. Let's also get 300 Skylar W's down below. Then Cammy, appreciate you for the $10. And to respond to your question, she's doing good. Thank you so much, Cammy. Kayla with a $15 who says thank you for what you do and have a great week. You too, Kayla. Thank you so much for the love. Then Pamela with a $10 who says thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of y'all. And then Gabriella, thank you so much for the $5 on PayPal. Sour Girl, I appreciate you for the $10 over on Super Chat, who says my cat Walter is hissing at the collar to WCat. Rodney, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal, who says Biden was so incompetent he put the Republicans in their place at the State of the Union. So incompetent. Then Gay Uncles, appreciate you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Jay with the $10 says, is dirt cannon? Shut up, Jay, but appreciate you for the $10. And then Taylor, thank you so much for the $20 Super Chat, who says, thank you, Dean, for speaking up about these topics. Can you say hello to my friend Rin? Me and him are such big fans. Yes, hello to you, Taylor, and hello to you too as well, Rin. Thank you so much for the $20. Let's hop back into the debate. Show some love to all the donors down below. Seriously, I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Back to you, sir. Were you able to find one singular domestic policy Biden passed that was bad?
I mean, the only thing I found was like the when he paused the wall, and it created a mass surge of undocumented immigration just flooding the country.
Okay, so
That's
he
the only
paused
thing I found though.
paused
So
construction of the wall.
to answer your question, no. Like I didn't find anything, no policies. Like you're right about that. So I'm not gonna argue. I just that's the only thing I see. Like really.
Okay, so then you can see that he's not the worst president of in American history.
Yeah. No, I have my information a little mixed up here. So this is why I'm on here. I'm on here to learn. Like I'm putting myself out there. I want to make sure like I get the right information. People like you and honestly Parker too. Like I love listening to you guys because like knowledge is power. So these things like I'll never learn it alone. Like I'm busy. I work. I have a daughter. I have a family. I have to focus on that. So the reason I want to educate myself is so when the next election comes, I'm prepared and I can do my due diligence and vote correctly. As far
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for the concession, man. I'm gonna go to move on to the next guest. I think that you should tune into the live streams more. There's a lot that could be learned here.
Yes, sir. Have a great one. Appreciate you.
Dude. Take care. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box right now, y'all. Only up inside of that queue if you happen to be MAGA. Only up inside of that queue if you happen to be MAGA. And one last time, folks, if you are watching and you want to support me, you could find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree, my bio on TikTok, pin message on YouTube, and the handles at the top of the phone screen. Appreciate y'all for all the love. Let's go to get that next drum supporter loaded up in here right now. We have Tristan joining the stream. Also, let me know how your Sunday has been so far down below in that chat if you happen to be watching. I hope that it's been a good one for you as it's been an all right one for me. It's been a really lazy Sunday. Spent the first half of the day literally just napping. Dude. Just napping. All right, let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box right now. Obsessively Hooked, thank you for the level up spark. Hi, D4 Trump.
I saw you hit your vape and you're dating Parker, you weirdo.
Okay, very interesting, Fetus. Moving on to the next guest, we have Nick connecting to the live stream. Here we go. Nick is joining up. And Brittany, oh my God. Thank you so much for the $50 on Super Chat. Jesus Christ, Brittany, that is so much money. Thank you. Brittany with a big 50 says, my coworkers are hardcore MAGA. One claimed that Trump charges were debunked, and another said that Alex Spready was brandishing his gun in the ICE agent's face and attempted to take their gun too. Oh my God, Brittany, please tell them to join my live stream. I'd love to fry them. Thank you so much for the $50. Let's show some love to Brittany down below in that chat. Welcome in, Nick. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I support Trump.
Okay, and what time is it?
What time is it now? 3 o'clock.
Very nice, dude. And what are your thoughts on the Epstein files?
I haven't looked into that yet because I've been busy moving.
What? You haven't looked into the Epstein files?
Well, I've been busy moving this weekend, so.
Okay. Well, just to catch you up, Donald Trump got accused like 6 times. Okay? And a lot of the accusations are things that I can't even repeat. Someone gave sworn testimony to the FBI under threat of perjury. Okay.
Did you say 6 times?
Yes.
That's actually a point I want to make. Can I ask you a question? Did you vote for Harris?
Yes.
Okay. So Biden had 6 accusers, talking about the number 6.
Not true.
Well,
he's had one woman accuse him of rape, and she was proven to be unreliable.
Well, you can Google it at your own time, but I have Googled this and looked this. There are 6.
What are the names of the other 5 women that have accused him of rape?
I'll get them to you in a second. But my
Chad,
point
thank you
is
so much for liking Sammer.
Did you know that in April 2019, Harris came out publicly and said that she believed all of Biden's accusers and she thanked them for coming forward and being strong to do that. And do you know what happened a year later? She then joined Biden. Sorry?
Can you roll that clip of Kamala Harris basically saying that she believes that?
Yes, it's on the Hill. Go to the Hill, and
okay,
if you actually Google, if you Google, I believe them. The Hill published that, and there is a video online, some which I haven't seen for a while. But she actually did say she believed his accusers, and then a year later she actually joined Biden. So I'm kind of confused whether she does support sexual harassment by men or she does not.
Let's go ahead and take a listen to this. Now, would you say that you believe the accusations made against Biden?
Do I believe them?
Yeah.
I need to look into them because I actually haven't read up on all of them.
Okay, and then what are the specific accusations made against Biden?
Well, you could probably. I'd have to look through them, but I'm just going by what Harris. Obviously, Harris. She listened.
Okay, I know,
to them,
but what were the accusations?
I think I'd have to recall, but if you want specific details, I have to look them up. But
yes, that is so important. We need to know what he was accused of, right?
Yeah, inappropriate touching in the workplace. I know that.
Okay, what kind of inappropriate touching?